So, hello again. Welcome back to New Eyes Open. Showing up again today for myself, for you. You're showing up for yourself as well. I trust in whatever it is that you're being called to do. Um, I've been taking this time, this in between time, is what it feels like to me between Christmas and the Gregorian calendar's New Year, to just think back, look back at patterns, larger cyclical patterns. That's something that is my attention has been drawn to. There was a whole lot of emotional processing that happened between November, the just before the November holidays, all the way through. So, if for those of us in the U.S., Thanksgiving holiday time frame, all the way through this Christmas holiday. Lots of stuff coming up, grief from things from years and years ago, which makes complete sense, taking into account, like in numerology, this is a 9 year, so it is the completion of a cycle year. In Chinese astrology, it's the year of the snake, so there is this shedding that is supposed to be happening. So all of it is right on time. And um, so I just tried to sit with it, allow things to come up that needed to come up, tried not to put too much of a story on anything because that's when things get stuck, when we add a story. Sometimes the feelings don't need a story, they just need to get out of our body. The story is long gone, it is past, but the emotions get stuck, and so we've got to just let them flow through. For me, that looks like crying often. A lot of times it's crying. A lot of times it's knowing that there's, like right now, even in my neck and shoulder area, there's some tension. And so just knowing that I need to be constantly moving and working those muscles and allowing whatever needs to flow out to flow out. And I can actually feel it in my body. Walking helps a lot. Leaning up against a tree actually helps a lot. The energetics, I think, the energetic exchange between your body and the tree, but I also, there's an alignment there, right? If you're standing up against a straight tree trunk, it's a naturally stiff surface for your spine to align to. And sometimes that's all we need. We just need to remember that, oh yeah, we're meant to stand up straight and tall. Speaking of which, if I do that, I should pull this up a little bit more for the camera. Um, Instead of, we're constantly like this nowadays, and our ancestors walked looking upwards, following the sky, following the sun, following the stars. And so our necks went from being stretched out like this to nowadays doing this, and it's not natural. And so just taking the time to um, consciously stand up straight and tall and lean, if you need the support of something like a tree or the wall behind you, leaning back against it and stretching your neck up as far as it'll go. Those kind of things really help me move that energy through and shed what needs to be shed during this time. And so those are some of the things I've been doing with the larger cyclical patterns that have been coming up. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that for about the past 3 months, actually, for the past 3 months, I made a commitment that October, November, and December, I was going to follow the transiting, follow align my gene keys and human design contemplations with the energy of the gate or the gene key that the sun was currently transiting through based on true sky astrological placements. And so I've been posting regularly, which has been a commitment over on my Instagram channel. And that has helped me just notice these patterns on a weekly basis. Every week there's a new energy to work with, there's a new light that's shined on a certain aspect of our life. Like right now, this week is Gate 9 or Gene Key 9, which is all about the shadow of inertia. which is quite timely given what this project is right now. Me just doing videos because I know I need to do the videos, get out of that inertia. And the gift of that gene key is determination. So being determined, not out of force, but out of knowing that this is something you have been called to do, and you are now given the strength, the will, the determination to move it forward. And so that has had me looking at patterns in the past where I have fallen into these times of inertia. And that actually aligns with one of my larger cyclical patterns that I have noticed lately. And so I've really been thinking about it and thinking about, what is that pattern? How does that pattern of inertia show up in my life, or has it shown up in my life? And what what type of determination do I need to propel myself out of it? And I've already touched on this in a couple of my other videos. So the big pattern that has come up for me is this tendency to stop and go into a state of inertia right when things are about to get real. So when I have heard the call clearly that I am supposed to do something, and this is something, outside of my comfort zone. So my comfort zone is very much being a mother, educating my kids, homemaking, helping others. But when I feel a call to do something that is helping others in a way that hasn't been normal for me in the past, such as making videos to share my experience or sharing a deeper part of me out with the world, um, I've had a tendency to answer the call in a way, by preparing and studying, and then I tend to wait, have this moment where I'm like, wait, is this really it? Is this really the thing I'm supposed to be doing? And so I will stop and call it waiting for certainty, which that's valid. There is a time and a place to wait for certainty. Um, but when I look back, oftentimes my waiting wasn't from a healthy place. It was more from this place of, it was an excuse. That's basically what it was. It was an excuse, because I recognized the weight of success that waited on the other side, the weight of responsibility that was on the other side of answering that call. And this is a legitimate thing, especially for those of us who, um, already have a lot of responsibility on our plates. So my advice to you, I spent a little time kind of beating myself up about, um, or not really beating myself up, just been being like, now that I see that pattern, I can't unsee it, and that's a topic for another video. But I, once I've seen the pattern, there's a fear of what that clarity means. That clarity means that you have to do something about it, or now you're willfully staying stuck in that inertia and not answering the call. And that, I believe, is where we really have to be careful. However, going back to this, the fear of the weight of success and responsibility is a real thing and truly something to take into consideration, because what are your values? Your values come into play here. And my values, my highest value is raising my children in such a way that their nervous system and inner, just their inner core is ready for the world, is ready to take on the responsibility that I maybe shy away from sometimes. And so that is a huge responsibility in and of itself. And that's something we can talk about another time. I really feel like right now, one of the things that's coming up for society and just in general is how very heavy the weight of responsibility can be for mothers, and how it's not, it is not recognized or honored or I'll just name it, financially rewarded the way that it should be. And so mothers who are dedicated to raising their children in this intentional way, this way of integrity, this really open-hearted way, find themselves having to also do other things outside of the home to earn money, and that splits their attention and intentions, which makes it a lot harder to do both jobs. You know, it's hard to chase two rabbits. Every entrepreneur, coach, you know, from Alex Hormozy to Alex Sharpin, who I first heard it from, they all talk about you can't chase two rabbits. You know, choose one rabbit and chase that rabbit. Well, if you're a mom and you're chasing the mom rabbit, but you need to make money, then you are obligated, like you have to chase two rabbits. And so, what I think we are being called to right now is to see the opportunity that the digital world has for us and just our world in general has for us, that we actually can chase two rabbits. It's just chasing, allotting time to when you chase each one. And that's what I'm doing right now. Like, just literally went in and checked on my girls, made sure that they were okay, asked, checked in on their lessons, asked where everybody was at, and made sure they were good. Came out here, took a walk, recording a video, and then I will go right back in there. And the rest of this stuff that I do for the business, I get to do sitting by their side where I am available if they have questions. Um, and in the afternoons, after their studies are done, they have free time to pursue their own interests. And that is a time when I have a little more time to focus on the business side of things. And so that it's this going from either or to a dance of this and that, and learning how to dance that dance gracefully. That's where we're at right now. So all the way back to the pattern. If you find yourself in a similar pattern, you know, you sense a call, you answer it by preparing and studying, and then you find yourself waiting for certainty, waiting for a sign, waiting for clear guidance. My gentle suggestion to you is to really look inside and see if that's not the shadow of inertia showing up in your life. And if it is, examine what's behind it. You know, is it like me, where the fear of rejection, the fear of the weight of responsibility, and the fear of what clarity might mean? Because once it's clear, then we're either obeying by going after it or disobeying, like actually not answering the call. And obeying and disobeying is the wrong, I think that's the wrong thing to say here. You know, um, showing up for ourselves or denying ourselves. That's one way you could put it. And maybe it's the fear of being seen, you know, which ties into the first thing I mentioned, the fear of rejection. Are you afraid of being rejected? And if so, by whom? And my one thing that helped me with this part a while back, you know, and I thought I had to have all the things right, like the right lighting and the right setting before I could get on camera. By pausing and not showing up, I was rejecting myself. So that is, that's the worst. You want to show up for yourself. You are the one that is calling yourself forward. Show up for yourself. Don't worry about the fear of rejection of anybody else. Worry about rejecting yourself by not showing up for yourself when you know you have a clear call to do so. All right. I think it's a good place to stop for today. If you see yourself in this, I would love to hear about it below if this helped in any way. I'm honored. Thank you for being here with me as I show up for myself. And if there's any way I can help you show up for yourself, please just reach out. There's a link below with all the options. All right. Until next time, be well.